Greetings, traders. This is Mohan here. Good afternoon and welcome to our training session for this week. Today is a fantastic March the 2nd on a Wednesday here, and we're going to get ready and do our training session today. And first of all, before we get started, hope you had a nice weekend and a busy trading week. We'll talk about the markets in a minute here. Be sure to read this disclaimer here and understand the risks of futures trading. It's something I always like to post to let traders understand that you shouldn't trade with money you can't afford to lose. Make sure that you just have extra cushion for your money. It's kind of a rich person's game. Trading is, you should have extra cushion to trade in your account, extra backup capital and all that. It's very high risk business, and you should just be highly aware of that before you place any futures trades. If you can see my cursor moving and hear me okay, please type a Y or yes into the Q&A platform there just to let me know. Charlie, good afternoon. Good to see you. Thanks for the confirm. Thank you, Lisa. Always happy to see you. Greg, James, wonderful. Great to see you. Sharif, nice to see you again. Rich, most appreciated. That's fine. I thank you so much. We'll get things cooking here now. First of all, as you're probably well aware, the volatility has somewhat dissipated. That started around the beginning of January. I mean, they came into the new year and everything, all heck broke loose. It just was wild, insane volatility. And I kept thinking, well, this is incredible because the high speed would last all day. The market would open up with extreme high volume and just keep going. And I thought, well, this isn't going to last, So it lasted all day. Second day, came back and I said, well, maybe they'll calm down a little today. And it just kept going. It lasted for almost 6 weeks, every day. You guys were there, and Boomerang turned out to prove to be the same great champion that it is in regular markets. And it's just wonderful to have such a reliable software to use every day to trade. I'm sure most of you who are Boomerang owners are aware of that. Now, what I do, just a little quick side note here, what I do every day is I use this volume meter, which I show you how to build this, by the way. If you're new to Boomerang, you just go to everything default for Boomerang is right here at boomerangtrader.com. But if you go up into the resource section here and you scroll down here, how to set up the volume meter. It's very simple to set up the volume meter. You need to have that because it'll help you learn how to monitor a couple things. So let me show you what I do each morning before I get up. Get the market going. Not before I get up. Before I get up, I sleep. But after I start the day out, what I look for, let's see what we got here. I watch this is a West Coast chart, so it says 6:30 instead of 9:30. What I do is I watch for there's two things I do within the first 10 minutes of trading, and that is I go in and watch the opening volume. This is the bar by bar volume on a per minute basis. Use a 1 minute chart on that volume meter. And this is a 4-period base. In other words, what's the average volume over a 4-minute period and constantly rotated and recalculated? Usually on a high volume day, well, like what we saw in January and everything, that thing is going to be blasting away. They were opening up 2,000, 2,500 contract average, 3,000 on one day I saw. Everybody was going nuts, either liquidating stock or just felt they had to somehow go in there and trade that action. And this is on the mini NASDAQ. I'm referring to the mini NASDAQ. Most of the work I do is on the U.S. stock indexes because it gives you a job to go to every day. Every day you can go in those U.S. stock indexes and have a nice job to go to. But here's today's, for example. They're opening up right off the bat, 900 contracts, and this is normal, running from like 1,000 to maybe 15, 1,600. Up here you can see them peaking out up there at 1,700 4-period average, and it kind of tapers off after the first 10 minutes or so. That's normal. Hovers around the green line, which is an average of 700 contracts. Push a little higher, and then the rest of the day after the first 45 minutes, you're kind of on your own to figure out what's going to happen. But that's usually how it'll work, and then after a half an hour, you just kind of determine whether the market is really solid. In other words, hanging above this magenta line, giving us a solid 300 to 500 average contracts trading. It's a small contract, the mini NAS. It's not that big of a contract, so there's not a massive amount of volume. But if it starts dipping below too much under the this magenta colored line here under 300 contracts, you just have to be a little bit cautious. If they dip down under 150 contracts, you'll put on a trade, but it probably won't go very far. It can still pan out, but it's going to probably just sit there or trade a lot slower than it normally would. As you know, most of our boomerang trades will fill very quickly. You'll enter the trade and it'll get filled, and I'll show you some examples in a minute. My record is 7 seconds. I mean, nothing like putting on 5 contracts at a price. You click your button, and then before the little electronic lady says order filled or whatever, before she's even done speaking, she's speaking again saying, your trade's filled, and it's pretty amazing. 7 seconds, that's a record. I've had lots of trades fill in 20 seconds, 10 seconds, stuff like that, but 7 is still the record. I had one a few weeks ago. I think it was a few weeks ago. I'd have to check with my partner there, but I think it was about 9 or 10 seconds, and I thought I had a new record, but no, still the 7 seconds was the record. And that was long ago. That was maybe 4 or 5 months ago in just some high-speed market day. I don't know why. For some reason that day, everybody was getting real hyper about trading, so fast market conditions. So you can see the average, though, hovers above between these two lines, and that's normally where you want to be to get the boomerang trades filled at a normal speed. And again, during some certain days or days where you have like these FOMC meetings or something, that price might drift down a little bit lower. Just be careful if they start, getting down around, like here you see the average is 194 contracts on this bar. You just got to be a little bit extra cautious. If they get under 100 contracts, just stand aside because it's too slow, and you might get a bunch of whipsaw that isn't really even necessary to trade in. Anyway, I wanted to show you that. And then what I also do is I mark the opening range of the contract by putting, I'll just show you quickly. Well, here's a real choppy session that we had. This was back on 223 just recently, and the opening range you can see. Let me put some quick little lines in here. I'll give you an idea. Is you just go to the first bar. I know there are 450 ticks, so you just kind of eyeball it and get a rough idea. Here's the opening there, and here's the first 5 minutes right in here. So you can see that the opening range, the low of the opening range is here. So you just mark that. I usually use a white dashed line, and then you find the 5 minutes level, which is right on this candle here. And this actually put in the high, but it's slightly past 5. So you move this right to about here. Now you're going to find that just what I marked here, this opening range of this day, is very valuable. Look, here's why. Basically, prices above the opening range tend to lean on the buy side, but if they move on the upside, especially like in a spike fashion, and pull back into the opening range, that tends to be very bearish because they couldn't really, it's just common sense. If the prices are holding above the opening range, they're rejecting the opening range value and looking to push to a higher new value. If they move below it, they're rejecting the opening range value as being too expensive and trading below it. In this case, you can see once they busted out under the opening range, they were just all downhill from there, and they never really recovered until later in the session. Let's see if they made it back there. See, they never even made it back. It was a really bearish day. But that just gives you something to look forward to doing every day. I often will put a line in the center of the opening range as well. Now, these are several things you can do just to become a professional stock index trader to help you while you're making your boomerang trades. You don't necessarily need to do them, but they're very good. The exciting news is I've just had a new book published. It's an ebook, which are nice because when you get an ebook on a PDF file, you can click on the plus or minus and you can expand the charts. You can expand the letters if you can't, if you have to wear reading glasses like I do. A lot of times those are real nice. A regular book, you have to get a lot of light on it or whatever, but a PDF, you can grab it and expand it into a thing. But let me just show you the book real quick, and then I'll let you know how you can get a copy. Let me just pull that up here on the screen so you can see it. Here it is here. Got my, I have to shrink it down a little bit here. It's called My Secret Insider Book, Mohan's Day Trader's Action, Secret Insider Book. 6 essential ingredients of a professional trader, and this is about the U.S. stock indexes. And scrolling through the book here, I talk about the main 8 points of the book are the 6 essential ingredients, no guts, no glory. These are the chapter names. Enter the Ninja Warrior Trader, the Blue Collar Working Futures Trader, Structure of the Intraday Market, Winning Tools for Trading the U.S. Stock Index Futures Market, Key Roadmaps on the way to 80% winning day trades, and How to Achieve Maximum Success as a Stock Index Future. I think you'll like the book here, and I talk a little about some of my philosophy about trading and some of the ways I developed different ideas, and then I talk also about a little about the history of Boomerang Day Trader and my meeting with floor traders at a large seminar that I did, and all kinds of exciting things like that. So I kind of gave me a chance to finally condense into one easy-to-read book. And like I said, you go up here, see this plus and minus, you can expand the text and everything. So PDFs are quite a wonderful invention. Basic Elliott wave, chart pattern understanding, Fibonacci retrace map. It's all you need to know, really, is basic Elliott wave, Fibonacci. It's not hard to learn at all. Once you know that, you pretty much have everything you need along with Boomerang and how to become a career stock index futures trader. Those of you who've been using Boomerang now for a while can see how valuable it is, how profitable it is, how steady it works. And so if you just learn a few extra little things, it just, while you're sitting there waiting for the next Boomerang trade, it's fun to set up the fib numbers and say, wow, it looks like it'll go to this level, and I can expect a Boomerang trade here, different things like that. Now here's an interesting picture here. I talk here about no guts, no glory, how to learn how to look in the mirror and see yourself in a different way. A lot of new traders, and you can't blame them. These markets are scary, you know. They're very, you look into the mirror as a kitten and you see a tiger looking back. That's what you eventually want to see, until just the tiger is looking in the mirror. You're not afraid to trade. No guts, no glory. You realize no guts, no glory. I'm not going to win if I don't get out there and give it full maximum energy and everything like that. So again, I'm just kind of, it's a short book. It's only those 8 chapters. And here I talk a little bit about the history of the daily directional forecast, which I don't publish as a newsletter anymore. I do it every day in my live trading room. And talk about the 320 traders that flew in from around the globe. Here's a couple pictures of the seminar that I did. We did about 4 of these, and it was quite fun back in the days before webinars. Remember that? Boy, they were expensive. People had to fly in, pay for the plane ticket, get the hotel when they got there, the cost of the seminar, so many things. Anyway, a lot of great stuff in this book. I think you'll find it very valuable. There's some charts here about Fibonacci and the things that I just talked to you about. There's the volume meter there. And opening range, this is the opening range using Boomerang on the opening range and how to read with that. So a lot of stuff there. What I am bringing this up for, because I am so happy to have this condensed into one easy-to-read book. And if you would like a copy of this book for free, just email me at mohan@daytradersaction, and I'll be more than happy to send you a copy. All you got to do is send me your email, mohan@daytradersaction, request the book, and I'll shoot it over to you. All right, so Boomerang is expanding, and our work is expanding, and it's exciting. I want to show you two new things that I want to show you I set up. They're small, simple things, but it's just expansion and valuable things. So here on the blog, boomerangtrader.com, under the blog, this is a brand new section I started. I'm going to add it. I got another testimonial the other day. I have to find it. I don't ask for testimonials. They just send me an email and say, wow, I just bought Boomerang and I can't even believe this. You know, I feel like a kid in a candy store, because this person is one of our classic friends who has been trading for many years, buying systems, losing with the systems, you know, getting upset because they start thinking nothing works, and they find boomerang and they start following the simple rules like I'm going to show you today, and unbelievable. There you go. He's making steady winning trades just in the first week of trading, and he's just thrilled. So I'll have that up here. But I've got many, many endorsements up here. All I do is I spell it out here. I just copy the emails and paste them in here. I don't really do a fancy thing with their picture or anything like that. I just copy them and put them in here so you can kind of look at it, get some inspiration, get some reference. Like I said, I have that brand new one I'll be putting on here, but this is the last one from middle of this month, of last month. And he says, I just want to report the results. I did not get to trade full days. Just traded about 3 hours a day. Took 38 trades for this week he had. 35 winners, 3 losers. And instead of putting on 2 contracts, he started putting on 3. So he ended up netting out $6,300 and $650 in the losers. So netting $5,600 for the week. Very good week. And again, a brand new boomerang trader. Here's another person here. He says they gained about $17,000, less a few hundred in commission in the first 2 weeks of trading. Just absolutely astonishing and wonderful. I love hearing these testimonials. I know they're true because that's how I developed boomerang for myself and then offered it to the public. But check this out when you get a chance. It's good inspiration if you're looking at purchasing boomerang or you wish to learn how to trade with boomerang. You bought boomerang and it's very inspiring to read. Now something else more on a technical level. I just made this over last weekend, and because I've had requests and people here sometimes have requested, I did this actually a couple of weeks ago in the room. I showed people how to apply the constant lines, but I thought, well, why not just make a video and have it here so people can watch it all the time. So constant lines are, I'll show you some in a second here. Here, let me move this out. Constant lines are these lines here on, for example, on the bias index 1 and 2. See these dashed lines and these blue color and magenta color lines? You put those in the chart. Right? If you just go, you can take a line up here and put a horizontal line anywhere on your chart. See, there it is. But once you shut down your Ninja for the evening or whatever and reload it the next day, odds favor that that line is going to disappear. So constant lines keep it permanently on the chart, and it's not a big deal. Many have figured that out, but many of our traders are brand new to Ninja and things like that. So it's an easy way to watch this video. It's just about 10 minutes or less. Exactly how to place constant lines on your chart and use those. And so that's a very nice feature also. So we're gradually getting all these things done. I get so darn busy trading every day, managing my private hedge fund, and then coming in here and every day getting 40, 50 emails helping the traders. You know, I promised them I would, so I'm a man of my word. I live up to my promises. So we for sure answer all the questions you might have by email with very detailed answers, I might add. I don't just tell you, these little quips like you often see. A lot of people answer me that way too. Little 3-word, 4-word quips. I answer in full detail and everything. Anyway, let's get into the action here with boomerang. It's so simple. And the thing is that you're not going to get any system out there. There aren't any, I know, that offer 90% guaranteed winning trades. In fact, if you're looking at any other system and you're not a boomerang owner, you're thinking you're interested, anything else you're looking at, call the guy who's talking to you. Say, hey, can you guarantee me 90% winning trades following your system? And they laugh. They go, what, are you crazy? Nobody does that. That's what they'll tell you. And guess what you'll think? Well, I know who does. That's where I'm going. Now, the key with boomerang, or any system for that matter, and futures trading, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It will feel like that when you put on a boomerang trade and you get in that trade. Like, for example, here's a classic, genuine boomerang trade here. You get a new channel opening up here. This is about half an hour into the market on 12:23. You get an arrow right here. Let me open this up here. The first thing that happens when you're going to get a boomerang trade is you get a arrow signaling a new sell channel opening up. You don't even think about the trade. I mean, you can observe the market and say, hey, it looks like one will be setting up. When that arrow comes off and the alarm sounds, you go, okay, you're ready to get into action. But all you're doing is looking at these. You don't have to worry about, for right now, these bias indexes down here. I'll show you later how to work those. They're just additional features that you no longer need to worry about with Ultra Boomerang. I've made it so simple, it's actually a little bit unbelievable. I'm shocked every day myself. You get a new sell channel opening. All you do is look at the dynamic trend bands, which is this thin dashed dotted line. That's bias or dynamic trend band number 1, and number 2 is this thicker one here. They're magenta colored on the sell side and azul or the bluish color on the buy side. That's it. All you're looking for is that they've crossed over or they're right on the verge of a crossover, like maybe the dynamic trend band number 1 is up slightly above this. But if they've crossed over, or especially if they match color, that's all it is. You just buy a pullback signal line, and all these pullbacks are dashed. I mean, they're marked exactly. There will not be a yellow dot on this signal line unless that price has actually hit that number. Like here, it appears that they actually hit the signal line here, but they didn't. If they did, there would have been a yellow dot in there. So when you see that yellow dot here, in this case on the sell side, and all these colors are adjustable, by the way, if you want to see a different color. You go short here, for example, at 42.05 even on NAS. And again, this is one of those 1-minute trades, because in the next bar, 42.05 at the bottom of the second bar or candle is trading at 98.75. It already ran like 7 points almost. And this candle's at 10 minutes, 7:06, and this one was at 7:06, 30 seconds. So this trade took less than 30 seconds and delivered up to 7 points just within that 30 seconds. You're going to scalp for 3 points, 3 to 5 on Boomerang. I tell people to trade for 3. That's kind of the default method and rule, and that's because I know that 3 points will be achievable practically under any condition that a boomerang trade sets up. Listen, obviously, as with anything in life, anything from playing football to a bicycle to your profession, the longer you're in it, the better you get at it, right? You're going to look at this and you're going to go, this thing's going lower. And you're going to say, instead of taking 3 points, I'll take 5. So you take 5, you get out and you're all happy because you had 4 contracts on and you just made $300 or whatever. And then you see them fall off lower. And that's where you employ what I call, and it's described in my book, which you can get for free. It's called the so what, who cares, no big deal sign that I place up on my computer. I'm staring at it right now. It's up there every day. And you just say, I followed my system. I got my 3 to 5 points. I don't care. Let them go lower. Doesn't matter. Now, if you get in this trade and you think they're going lower, you can always follow the bias indexes down below this blue line or down below this green line. You can follow these surges if you want, and you'll get real good at doing that. That's the first type of trade, both on the sell side and on the buy side. The second type of trade is called a second level trade, and this is a classic example of one right here. That's where the market does indeed drop lower in this case, gets really fiery into a trend, gets into a downtrend, steep downs trend with the steep dynamic trend band number 2. You get a counter move. You have to have that arrow print there. Once that arrow prints, that tells you to be ready for a possible second level trade. You watch a counter move. They may open up a channel and print the dots and the signal line thing. This is not a boomerang trade, because remember, you need to have matching dynamic trend band color or a crossover with the same color. And you don't have that here at all. So there's no trade here. But the minute you see this new arrow print on the sell side, that tells you it's a second level trade. Now in this case, the arrow fired and they printed the signal line all in one bloop. It sounds like a bloop on your screen because the sound of the arrow printing and the sound alarm of the dot all hits at once in many cases, and it's just like a big clunk. Not to worry, you just catch the second one here, and down they go. You got another 3 points there. So within the space of, in this case here, 7:06 and 7:45. Within the space of about 40 minutes, you had two trades, and if you took 3 points, you would have made about $450 after commission, something like that. Around $450 after commission. Now, that's on a small account. That's on a small, $5,000 account. 5 to 7 maybe, have a little extra cushion. That's darn good. That's a darn good paycheck for 40 minutes. Sure beats going to the office and having to work all day and having the boss watch over you and reports on your progress, reports on what you did. You can't slough off. Everybody's watching you. I've worked in sales for many years, over 20 years, and before I was a trader, and I know what it's like, especially if you're, in that, they watch your performance, but you, for your own commissions, have to stay busy and make 100 phone calls a day and get a lot of appointments. That's the way that game's played. I like trading a lot better. I like making $500 in 40 minutes and either taking the rest of the day off or just doing what? That's right, waiting for the next boomerang trade. What could be more exciting? Well, we watched the market just get hammered to the downside here. One of those days where they're just roasting the market. And what happens when you get to the bottom of these, the way you set these up, there's a certain method to what we do and a simple rules, and that is when you get a steep move like this, 90% of the time, it's the second reversal you want on the buy side. You don't want the first one. It's going to be full of whipsaw, practically guaranteed, because there was just too much downside pressure. So when they spring back, it's a lot of buyers coming in and springing back in, but they're basically too early on the move in many cases. Sometimes not, but in many cases they are. This is a classic example of where the market gets a new buy signal. And yes, there was a crossover, but you have this steep dynamic trend band. One of the rules is not to trade against a steep dynamic trend band. In most cases, you've heard me in these training sessions, and I hope you're taking notes. Don't trade the first crossover. Just wait a while. Let things whipsaw, which you can see here. Heavy whipsaw on the buy side. And then catch the second one. But to the credit of Boomerang, there was the squish together of the dynamic trend bands. The pullback to the signal line was here at 71.75, and they did indeed run up to 74.75 for exactly 3 points on that move. But then they got crushed. But had you been real fast here, you could have caught it, but I wouldn't recommend these. Just let that market kind of even out. Let the trend bands cross over and everything kind of scoop up here and get flat. Now you get a new buy signal or a new buy channel coming here. The second one, that's a lot better one here. They shoot higher. They pull back right here. You can see the blue dot right here to the signal line. And again, instant trade success here. 72 just shot up to 77 within the same candle, practically within less than about 45 seconds. So you waited around for another about another hour to go through about another 45 minutes to go through all this, wait for the right setup, and you just added another $240 to your day's pay based on trading 4 contracts. So you got a 700 day approximately under your belt, and you say, well, that's it, I'm done for the day. And that's a smart thing to do in many cases. Well, if you're a trading fanatic and you want to keep going, like me, nothing wrong with that, then you continue to look. I'm going through this one particular day here for no reason. One I grabbed, it's got a lot of swings, so I like to show that. So you say, I'm going to wait for the next boomerang. I like this, man. I got $700. I want to make more. Well, the key here, and I'm going to give you the easiest key, when this market, especially in these modern current period, gets really full of whipsaw and fast moves, the real simple thing to do is, of course, follow the boomerang rules, but primarily get your focus on just watching for matching dynamic trend bands. You can see here they started turning lower after that huge run-up. Remember, you got long here Within 30, 45 seconds, you're out with another 3 points. They ran up here, now they shot back down here. There's no trade here. Can you tell me why? Little quiz for you here. That's right. Based on what I told you earlier and showed you the simple method of boomerang, there's no crossover of the dynamic trend bands, nor are they matching colors. So there's no trade at these sell. This is a sell channel, and these are sell pullbacks to sig line that produce 3 points. But according to the rules, this is not a boomerang trade setup that's correct, because we rely so much on the guidance of the dynamic trend bands to keep the trade as safe as possible. The futures trading is very risky, and you have to always remember that. So now they shoot down here, and then look at this. One whipsaw candle coming up from 71.25 all the way up to 77. 6 points, 6.5 point, one whipsaw candle. That's the kind of action we've had lately in the markets. It's exciting. Here's a new buy channel coming in. Here's the first pullback, the sig line here, and maybe you bought that because you saw the dynamic trend band number 1 blinking onto the green color, the bluish color. But normally you probably wouldn't have caught that here. But on the second, they moved up on the second pullback sig line. Clearly, right here, the colors were matching. So you simply buy that pullback signal line, and again, they just shoot straight up. And that's your fourth winning trade in the row, all within, about 3 hours since the market opened. But you've now got very close to a $1,000 paycheck. You get about a $950 or so after commish after this trade. And you may want to stop then. But say you say, no, I like this action. I ain't going to stop. I love trading with boomerang. So you go on. I'd never seen this day. I mean, I was trading on this day, but I don't remember it. I just kind of randomly scrolled back today and said, okay, I'll just use this chart. I don't recall what it says, but look, here's right after this one succeeds, here's another one. New sell channel. The dynamic trend band number 1 is crossed under number 2. When that happens, no matter what the color of dynamic trend band number 2 is, as long as it's flat or sloping down, not steep on the upside, you can take the next pullback sig line. So immediately this crossed over here. You got the pullback to the sig line right here with both dynamic trend bands matching color, but already there was a crossover, so you're good to go. The Cobra is this thin dotted line, is also front, in most cases will lead the dynamic trend bands 1 and 2. It'll kind of front run them a little bit so you can get a hint of what's coming. That's why I put it in there. It's a cobra, so it's very amazing animal. I've seen many cobras in my travels throughout the Far East. In fact, many times walking out in the jungles in India, there's a cobra laying in the sun, and you got to respect them because they can read your mind. I'm serious. And if you don't respect them, they will get up, that hood will lurch up, and they'll start hissing, and boy, it's pretty scary. But if you just calmly walk by and you're quiet, they'll be all right. They're not going to just bite you for no reason. Nice, they're pretty nice animals. But here's a cobra telling us in advance, watch out for a downside move. There's a pullback sig line. Now you've got almost, probably about $1,200. Now do you want to stop trading for the day? It's up to you. Now if this happened too fast and for whatever reason you missed it, you could have taken this pullback sig line down here, but generally you want to catch the closest pullback to the sig line with the correct dynamic trend band setup in the trade channel, as close to the trade channel arrow candle as possible. That's the general rule. The closer the better, because what we're doing, a little philosophy about boomerang, these are what I call a technical term, momentum blasts. All you're doing is you're stacking up the momentum of the changing dynamic trend bands, which is a powerful momentum indicator built in on the charts, combined with our bias index 1 down here. See how it changed yellow here, crossed under the 0 line right here. It turned yellow. So it's already hinting. Well, first, with Boomerang, you got so much nice information to help you get on the right side. First of all, you got the red candles, the color change on the red candles. That's telling you the market's turning bearish. There's a shift in the bias. Then you got the trade signal line down here, which is what is used to color the candles. You have the trade channel opening. Then you look down here, you see bias index 1 turning yellow under the zero line. And then here, a little bit later, you see the Boomerang Market Force Index, or bias index number 2, I call it to keep it simple. Technically, it's called the Boomerang Market Force Index, shifts red here. That's telling you a lot of information there to get ready to go short. So anyway, as we move on, then you decide, well, no, I like what I'm seeing in here. I'm going to trade up into the last final hour. I usually don't recommend you trade past the final hour. Maybe a little bit if you're in a trade, but try not to, because a lot of people are going to be smoothing out positions. They're going to be factoring up their positions for the close. It might get a little bit, it may not hold a normal trend. So you see this trade here and you go, well, this is not a trade because this is a flat dynamic trend band. I got a big spike here. They're running up. Sure, the trend bands are matching, but it's not really a counter trend. It's one of the rules of Boomerang. Don't trade against a flat dynamic trend band. Wait till everything's matching and smooth. Like if you had the dynamic trend band number 1 up above this, it would be a different thing. But because it's below, and see how the Cobra's below the flat DTB number 2 here. Better to wait for the next trade. Well, sure enough, look what happens. Prices start heading lower again. You see the big giant red candle change. You get a sell channel, and right on the pullbacks, everything's already matching color here. Immediately the DTB number 2 changes color, and number 1's the sell color again. Pullback signal line, and you're up 13. Well, let's see, 1,200. You're up probably around $1,400 on this day, coming into the final hours. See, this again was another one of those 30-second trades. You're in the trade and you're out. So if making $1,400 on a small $5,000, $6,000 account interests you, you can buy Boomerang Day Trader and start your career as a professional stock index trader. That's it. The real secret is waiting for the trade setups. You got to have patience. You got to have normal, if you've traded before, you understand this, but if you're new to trading, it's going to test all your patience, and it's going to test all your inner adult maturity. Because when you miss a trade, if you're new sometimes, instead of looking up at the sign that you should have put on your desk that I recommended, which says, so what, who cares, no big deal. You're going to get that all the time in the markets. You're going to get that with Boomerang. You go short here, they come down here, you hand you 300 or 3 points, $250 on 4 contracts, and then they fall off the wagon. So what? No big deal. I don't care. I just made my money. I followed my rules, made my money. Market can go anywhere. It could have went here, pulled back a little, and could have shot up to the moon up here. You don't know. We never know for sure. Boomerang is pretty darn solid, though, as far as the indicators I developed to let you know which way it is going to go. And it's so good that I guarantee you'll make 90% winning trades following the exact rules. What we do is we guarantee the rules and the system and the software's ability to hand you these winning trades like I showed you today. We can't guarantee your ability to follow rules or be a good trader. There's no way anybody can guarantee that. But we can guarantee the system to produce the winning trades. So here you are, done for this day. A normal Boomerang trading day, which I showed you. It had all the swings and different things. Boomerang showed you how to avoid the choppy market. See, this was remember when we were marking the opening range? I've since removed those lines, but here when we were marking the opening range, all this choppiness started right off the opening. And when you see this kind of whipsaw going on, you don't need to trade this whipsaw. You're better off just waiting and letting it settle down. But just for the record, though, you can see that when... where'd it go? Oh, here it is. You can see, just for the record, let me spread this out a little bit, that when there was a Boomerang signal right here, about 10, 12 minutes after the opening, all the dynamic trend bands match color, and a pullback to sig line did produce a 3-point winning trade. But when you see this kind of whipsaw up and down, then you see green candle, gray candle, red candle, counter red candle, yellow dot, blue dot, you probably are better off just standing aside. You can always go ahead and get into that later. It's not a big deal. You can always just wait, let the market smooth out, wait for the classic boomerang trade here. So we started here on this day. That's what I wanted to show you today. I spent a little extra time going over this one specific day, which I hadn't really seen until just now. I mean, I know I traded this day, but I don't remember it. I just remember it's one day. So I picked this one out, and fortunately it had an example of a second level trade. We don't often get those. And it had other examples of trades, but mostly were just, this one here was a good example of how when you get a really steep move, just make sure and consider letting it play out a little bit first, then wait for that second buy signal. Because look, here's the thing. If it comes down after a big steep move and whipsaws around, if all of a sudden the market turned lower again, this dynamic trend band would have turned red. You would have had matching dynamic trend bands, and all you'd have to do is trade a pull back to the yellow line. Odds were favoring that they're going to reverse to the upside, so all you do is wait for what? That's right, matching dynamic trend bands. You got the crossover, you wait for the new buy signal and the pullback signal line, and now they're matching. Now it's going to be a smooth trade. That's pretty much it, my friends. The rest is just experience and going in there and making the money. And like I said, if you buy my book, or you don't even have to buy it, it's free. You can send me Maui tickets if you want. I haven't been there in ages. I've been looking at these rainbow-colored charts every day. That's my new Maui. The new Maui for me the last few years has been looking at these rainbow-colored charts every day. That's okay. I don't mind. I don't really like traveling as much as I used to. When I was younger, I traveled around the world 14 times, and I'm telling you, I've seen some of the most exotic, beautiful islands in the world and wonderful, wonderful people all over the world. And, you know, I've met extremely wealthy people who would invite me into their homes when they'd meet me because they're always attracted. They see a foreigner and they go, oh, wow. They want to know, talk to you about your culture and stuff. And I've met the poorest people living in a little grass hut and stuff. And I'm telling you, everyone's just trying to make it in their world, in their way. The rich people actually are struggling more to make it because they got all this money. Especially in some of the other countries, they're paranoid about their wealth. They're really worried about it. Thieves and so many things, and the poor people are worried a windstorm's going to come and blow their hut down. Everybody's trying to make it, and I've developed Boomerang Trader because being a trader, I felt some idea that let me really make. I know there's a lot of frauds and stuff out there. I'm sorry about that. Where our industry is just loaded with all kinds of scumbags that'll sell you some piece of crap. They don't even trade themselves. They don't show you any proof that they trade, and then they will try to sell you a system they built and charge you $5,000 for it. And, you know, then you call them for tech support or something, and they don't even get back. I mean, I've seen the worst, and I've seen medium, but I am at the top of the heap here. Where I have a golden reputation, and I pride myself on helping traders. Been doing it for 16 years in the industry. That's much, much longer than the vast majority of the people who are out there offering you different services. But the best thing about Boomerang is it's really simple to use. I recommend you can use it on any contract or stock you want as long as it's really active. Even less active stuff, it'll give you good readings on the stocks and everything. Beautiful, the best readings. But if you use it on the U.S. stock index futures like the mini NAS like I do, YM, the TF, ES is good too. EF's a larger contracts, a little bit different, but it's filled with a lot of hedge fund managers and stuff, so it's not quite as much of a trading contract, but it's still good. What I want to say is that you'll be quite happy. You can start a career, work at home for the rest of your life, make $200,000 a year. Hey, I'm not making it up. I just showed you today, right? $1,400 on a $6,000 account. Let's do the math. You're not going to necessarily do that every day, but let's just do the math on $1,000 a day times 19 days a month, right? There's an average about 19 trading days a month. That's 19,000 times 12. That's $228,000. And I did those numbers after commish. If you make $1,000 a day average on 19 days a month, you're going to make $228,000 for the year. So I'm not making those figures up. I'm not trying to sell you something. If anything, I'm trying to sell you on yourself. A lot of people come off to me. They'll email me if they've never heard of me. They come on. I don't mind. I like all kinds of people. It's someone a little smart aleck and they've been burned, and I can't blame them. So I don't get mad at them, but they come off like I'm trying to sell them something. I go, I'm not trying to sell you anything. We got thousands of Boomerang users. I got a huge testimonial page of emails that I get all the time. They come in every week. I'm not trying to sell anything. If anything, I'm trying to sell you on yourself. You buy systems, you probably don't follow the rules, you don't use it right, or it's a piece of crap system and you lose money. But Boomerang is proven winner. This training I'm doing right now, I'm recording this. I'm going to put it up on my blog. You'll see it posted on the blog tomorrow in place of the announcement today, so you can hear all this all back over again. We show you everything in advance so that you can learn how to trade with Boomerang well before you purchase it. And I don't have time to even email people back and try to, hey, why haven't you bought yet? Get back to us. I don't even have any slick marketing systems. I just let people buy it and help them. I'm busy trading and running my hedge fund and just trying to assist traders. So we love you guys and thank you so much. I know a lot of you have done very, very well with Boomerang and continue to do so. And that was my mission when I started this all out, was just to make sure that people that came in contact with me would have good results with their trading, and that's the action. So with that now, what I'm going to do is turn off the recorder. Usually what I do on these webinars, I make a 45-minute or so presentation. We're right about there now, and then we just cut to the question and answers, and I'll be glad to answer any questions that you may have, and I appreciate that. I see a bunch of them on here now, so let me go over to that right now. And give me a second while I turn off this recording and save this video, so if you want to watch it again, you'll have the chance.